CAT can be cracked with by anyone who has done the right preparation. So mocks are the most important part of the preparation, because as I said, the journey from 103 marks to 244 marks was slow, and at every stage there were different set of challenges.
Everyone. Under the lead of Brenda Wu, Webinar and Career Guidance, today I, Rizal Trivedi, on the behalf of SA Collegiate Club, Triple MUT Chapter, have our fifth guest, one who has reached the zenith of success, an engineer who secured 100 percentile in CAT 2019, a person who is the epitome of excellence himself, a person who is the cognoscenti in the field, guiding for a career to get into the most prestigious B schools. CAT. Let us learn from the quintessential intelligent person, Rishi Mittal.
That introduction, I mean, that's too many heavy words to get out for me, but yeah, fair enough.
Love that.
Okay. So yeah, glad to connect with you all, and be able to part some knowledge, my experience with all that will be joining here. So how I plan to take this? First, I will give a little brief about myself and what my preparation and my journey has been. Followed by, I want to keep a major section for Q&A. So
Form. So we have a certain number of questions from all the universities, all over the university.
right.
Everyone is curious about your journey and all.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, after my I brief, then Raju, you can pick up the questions from the comment section, or if you already have any questions, and then you can ask them to me, and I'll be glad to answer them as much as I can. So, let's see. Okay, fair enough. So, let's start. Okay. Um, Not a
So,
long
sir,
time back. Yeah, tell me, Raju.
okay, so sir, firstly, shall we start from how did this incredible journey begin?
Right. Okay. So, fair enough. This began, I mean, I was, on the other side of the screen listening to such webinars just a year and a half back of how to crack CAT, how to get through IIMs, and if it is actually possible, and if or it's just a dream. So I don't know. But okay, it all started back in July 2018, I guess. Yeah. So it was a long and roller coaster journey of 1.5 years till the November of 2019. So it started in 2018, as I said, and I was just another aspirant with dreams, with fears, with ambitions, with a little confusion as to how to go about it, what I can do, what how this journey will unfold. So back in June, I just joined an offline class near my college while I was doing BTech third year. So started like any other student, attending classes, then solving modules, giving tests and everything, taking guidance. So from there, I was motivated that yeah, this is engineering. So after engineering, I really need to go somewhere better than where I am already. So that was kind of the motivation for me, and working down artistry for 1.5 years, practicing concepts, solving questions, giving mock exams, and improving step by step. Finally, that everything unfolded on the exam day, and I was able to get what I did. Also, honestly, luck plays a major factor. Your preparation, your hard work can take you to a certain level, but you don't know that day what it will happen and what will unfold. So luck is very important, and that was on my side luckily on that day. So yes.
That was your day. What was your inspiration behind choosing MBA as your goal?
Okay, choosing honestly, when you're in an engineering college, you have a lot of options open apart from engineering. So I was kind of analyzing the strengths and weaknesses that I had and what I could do. So I was like, after 4 years of engineering, I was sure कि मेरे को engineering तो नहीं करना है. So because that was not my thing. So So, engineering is out, engineering related jobs out, MS out, MTech out. So now what am I left with? I'm not a person who is a UPSC person, so not that kind. So my options were limited. So I chose, okay, let's give MBA a shot. If I can crack it, let's see. So that was honestly the sole reason of getting through it. But yes, somewhere I had that I wanted to do an MBA and get into businesses and the corporate. So that was my aim. But the path was not very clear. So yes,
Okay. At some point, people know कि उन्हें क्या ही करना है.
true, very true. क्या करना है के अलावा क्या नहीं करना है. So that is more important.
That's very important actually.
Good morning
So
to all
the
the people who have been commenting. So yeah, good morning. Yeah,
file. Most of the business schools focus on students' profile.
yeah.
How impressive should be in order to get selected?
Okay, now that is a very tricky and a subjective question. I'll tell you, because I know people who have not a very great profile, but they have got through IIMs because of their different factors like their audition, their interviews, their marks, etc. Whereas I also know my friends, very close friends, who have an amazing profile. They could not get through a clearance. So the complete process is very subjective. Yeah, but just one common thread that could bind all of it would be having a good balance in terms of your academics, your 10th, 12th, your graduation. If you have work experience, so that a plus point. I was a fresher, so I did not have that leverage. Your extracurricular, if you have achieved something in studies or in sports on a good level, so that always helps. Apart from that, your scholarships, if you have won any, your social service work, your leadership skills, your internships, a lot of things actually come together and make this. Like for example, you could also have something unique about yourself that can really drive this complete thing. Like I remember many of my interviews were on my cooking. Like I cook a lot. So being a guy, when they know that I cook a lot, so then it was point. So you need to have those points to talk upon, and you should really know your thing. Like if you say that I am a chess player, so you should actually know what you're talking about, what that sport is. So that is basically it. And what is right, what is wrong, that's very subjective. So yeah.
Okay, sir. So, English proficiency is very important for CAT. How to work on it?
Okay. This is one myth that I've been cracking for months now with whoever I do a session with. People think that VRT is a section of testing your English. That is farthest from truth. I mean, a year back, even I thought that VRC is about English, but just a month before that, this thing was broken for me. That it's not about English. Basically, your logical reasoning skills being put to test in form of English. I mean, personally, I never read a single novel in my life. Okay, I was the person who used to run away from practicing RCs, practicing parajumble questions and all that. So all that I prepared was through mocks. So once you understand the format of elimination in the VR section, it becomes a logical reasoning section more than English reasoning. I mean, I don't have a Thoroughly English or a vocabulary that I can show off, or people will be flabbergasted listening to the words I use. I don't have that. So with a simple English, a good hold on your grammar and logical reasoning skills, you can crack that. And even for that matter, for interviews, you don't need some very ornamental language, because the people who are interviewing you, they should understand what you're saying. So using as simple language as possible to explain yourself is the best way to go.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Got your point. The thing that knowing different difficult words is all about English.
No,
Certainly not that.
Not.
Okay. So, sir, our next question. Uh, do you think we should consider specific books for vocabulary building or newspapers are enough?
Okay. So, definitely, these activities of reading the newspaper or, increasing your vocabulary base does not harm, but it's not a compulsion as well. I mean, how it will help is that when you're solving a particular RC question, if you are a regular newspaper reader, you'll have the practice of reading fast, reading and grasping the idea of the same. Also, you will be able to, churn out the flow in which an article flows. So that will help you in parajumpers, in summarizing and all. So directly, these might not help, but yes, these have implications which will aid you while you are attempting the VRC section. Apart from that, reading newspapers and increasing your vocabulary base will really help you in your interview preparation process because in the interviews there is a major section on current affairs, on GK, on uh, the impact of different issues which are going on Indian or international economy. So reading newspaper will give you leverage when you are facing such topics. So yes, that is how it helps.
So there is this question in comment section. What to more,
Yeah.
accuracy or speed?
uh, to crack at both. That's the short answer. But while preparation, in my initial days, I was like, one section has 34 questions. I need to attempt all the 34, regardless of whether I'm able to solve or not. So I used to focus on speed. Then I was guided that, first develop your accuracy. If you're attempting 20 questions, do those right. Then try to increase your speed, like 221 questions, do them right. 222 questions, do them right. And make your game up from there. You know, on the D day, on the day of exam, both are equally important. But while preparation, first try to focus on your accuracy and then gain speed while maintaining that accuracy. That is how it goes.
Okay. So our next question. How to increase efficiency in quant? What are the areas of focus?
Okay. So, for efficiency in quant, basically what I used to do is I used to follow this ABC approach. I don't know how many of you are, aware of that, but okay, I'll just share it in short. So, ABC approach, what I used to do is A type questions are those wherein they are easy questions. They are the questions of my comfort zone. Okay. B type questions are those which are easy questions but not of my comfort zone. And C type questions are those which I'll do if time is left. Otherwise, I won't touch them. Okay. So, what I used to do is I would just, glance through the first 10 or 15 questions in a couple of seconds. And I recognize, like, for me, PNC was good, probability was good, algebra was good. I was bad at geometry. I mean, geometry was not my area. So I knew that, geometry I need to do at the end. Because if I start fighting with a geometry question, I'll lose time and confidence. So for one section, what you do is you go through the questions, you recognize the ones that are of your comfort zone or you find easy or you think you can solve it. Do those first. Then you skim through again to find the tougher questions of your comfort zone or you find easy questions of not your comfort zone. And finally, if you have done that and you still have time left, that is where you target the tough questions, the questions not of your comfort zone or tough questions, or like every section has four or five of those questions. So I think with the right time management, right speed, getting 27, 28 questions in an hour is not a very difficult task. But if you can, really practice through and, work upon all the areas, you can also get 34 questions in 1 hour, which I was able to in my exam. So, if this can make me do it, it is possible.
So this is actually this is a basic strategy to crack any exam.
Yeah,
Actually,
true,
uh,
true, true.
okay. So Do you think coaching help in CAT preparation?
Okay. Good question. I'm asked this a lot whether we should join coaching classes or self preparation is a better thing to do and all. So what I believe that is the right mix of both of these. Why? Because if it was only about coaching, there are like 1.5 lakh people who are going to quad coachings. All of them should have 100%, right? So coaching in itself are not the way, not the only way to go. But also on the other hand, if you are planning to go on solely self preparation, it's not bad. I mean, you can do it, no issues. But certain aspects regarding to guidance, regarding to consistency of test efforts, regarding doubt clearing and all, wherein the coaching gives you a edge. So having a coaching guide you regarding how to do, what to do, and then a huge amount of self preparation when you are, because what is important in cat is recognizing your weaknesses, polishing them, improving areas that you are weak in. So that a common coaching will not do for you. You will have to do it for yourself. They will teach you, and then these are the concepts that you need to study. Okay, they will teach you each topic. They will clear your specific doubts if you ask them. Okay, so you need to have the right balance in terms of coaching that you give time to and the self preparation that you focus upon. Like after every mock, you need to really focus on what are your weaknesses in that mock. You need to solve more questions, whether it's a concept mistake, whether it's a accuracy mistake, whether it's a calculation mistake. You need to recognize those. And if those mistakes are repeating, that is when you contact your coaching that, sir, this is an area that I'm not able to solve. Or, I'm getting conceptual errors in this. So then the coaching will help. So you need to know really how to balance these two things and make the best out of it.
So, moving to our next question. Uh, how easy or difficult it is for an engineer to qualify and make it to IIM?
Okay. That's again a very, very, very subjective question. People think that, uh, CAT is easy for, right. So people think that, CAT is easy for engineers to crack. But I kind of don't agree with that because, CAT is the most fair playing ground that I've ever seen. All the three sections that you have, those are nowhere related to engineering mathematics. They are general mathematics which you do till 12th standard or 10th standard, which is very, very common. So that is a fair playground. So anyone, be it commerce, arts, lawyer, medicine, engineer, any background, with the right preparation and efforts, can make it through CAT. But your question was make it to IIMs. Okay. So yes, clearing CAT or acing the exam does not give you any guarantee that you are through IIMs. Believe me, I have many friends who aced CAT did not get through IIMs. I myself got rejected from a lot of IIMs, right? So any percentile does not guarantee a seat in IIM. Remember that. First thing. Second thing, uh, the process of getting to IIMs is long, subjective, but a fair play because, as I said, CAT can be cracked by anyone who has done the right preparation. The next round is the GD or VAT and PI round. Again, this is completely preparation based. How you are able to, introspect, how you are able to prepare your HR answers, how you are able to prepare the general knowledge of current affairs, how you are able to polish your oration skill, how you are able to be present in the interview because these interviews are a lot of times a test of your presence of mind. They will give you stress, they will give you questions particularly that you won't know. So it's the right mix of everything. And at the end of the day, like my batch is of 525 people at IIM Bangalore. So it has everyone. I know people who are Indians, who are from abroad, who are lawyers, CA, CS, engineers, 10 years work freshers, from fashion background, from BBA. You have people from all the backgrounds. So it's on you, regardless of your background, whether you can get into IIMs or not.
Okay. So it does not depend on challenging.
Ah, right.
Okay, so there is this question in the comment section. How does it feel
Yeah.
like to be a topper?
Okay. This is a tough question, no doubt. How does it feel? Okay. Let me think. So when the result came out, that was on 4th of January 2020. And I don't think I will ever forget that date because following that day, my life has changed completely. So, getting so much attention, recognition, and, people knowing you by name and face, it's a different feeling, no doubt. But eventually it sets in. Initially, you feel a lot of things because there are a lot of people who are reaching out to you. There are a lot of media houses reaching out to you. So yeah, it does feel good, but eventually it sets in. It gets normal.
Yeah, but that feeling remains good enough.
That's true. I mean, I'll not consider myself as a topper because I'm sitting here because of my CAT score. But if I would have shown you my 10th, 12th or BTech marks, you would be like session nahi lena aapke sath. But I'm not a topper. It's just that I was really determined about CAT and I was able to crack it. Topper might be a person a topper in 10th, 12th, graduation CAT, वगैरह. So I don't know. I am not that person.
So, but it's certainly not a one-time thing, no? You'll carry this
Pardon?
around.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Uh, so, moving to our next question.
Sure.
Uh, we need work experience in order to get through.
Can you repeat, Raju?
Do we need work experience in order to work through?
Not really, not really. As I said, I am a fresher as well, right? So, uh, work experience does give you some points, no doubt, but it's not a mandate. It's on you. Like, I have a couple of friends who had got very good jobs from college. So, they decided that taking 2 years work ex or 3 years work ex and then getting into this MBA line will be good. Whereas my opinion was that, I'm in a phase of studying that 10th, 12th, BTech. So in that inertia, I'll do MBA. I didn't want to take a break from studies, get a job, and then come back to studies. That is a very, very personal thing that whether they should take a job or not. Because as far as I know, the opportunities given to freshers as well as work experience people is absolutely equal across colleges. I mean, definitely you have some points for work experience, but it won't matter at the end of the day. Like in my classroom, I am working on projects. Uh, I'm a fresher. I have a person in my group who's a 5 years work ex. I have a person who is 6 years work ex. So it's the right mix. There is no right number. If fresher is right, 2 years is right, 3 years is right, 6 years is right. There's no right number. It's on you how you're able to capitalize on that and justify it to the committee that why as a fresher you are right, why as a 3 years person you are right, why as a 5 year person you are right. So it's upon you that how you're able to capitalize on what you have.
Okay, so moving to our next question.
Yeah.
The exact criteria for a candidate to receive an IM call still remains mystery. We find cases when somebody with 99 percentile didn't convert. How uncertain is it?
100% uncertain. You talked about a 99 percentile who didn't convert. At 100 percentile, I did not convert many colleges. I have a friend of mine who is 100 percentile in 2019 CAT. He didn't even receive calls from all the colleges. right? And I have a friend who has converted IIM Bangalore at 92%. So it is 100% uncertain, and you never know because, like, I remember in my interviews wherein I was told that, I felt that my interview has gone very bad, very bad. I converted. But one of the interviews, I was told that, your interview was amazing. I think we look forward to seeing you at this IIM. Was rejected. So you can't really say.
So do you have any possible explanation for this mystery?
Not at all. That's not possible for an aspirant person who is into the IIMs, a person who has graduated from IIMs. I don't think there is any explanation unless you're actually sitting on the other side. If you're the panel, then probably you will have answers. But sitting on this side of the table, I don't think I can, get an explanation.
Okay. Okay, so there is this question. What is your advice for GWCI?
What is your advice for?
GWCI.
Okay, okay. So my first advice would be focus, get that through. Uh, but that doesn't mean that you start preparing for your bad GDPI round only after you get your results. Some things that you can do with your CAT preparation, as I said earlier, was reading newspapers. That will really help you later on in your preparation. Apart from that, once you're done with your CAT or ZAT, SNAP, and MAT, whichever exams that you're giving, you will have results coming in slowly. But you can't wait for the result and start your preparation. You need to start your preparation as soon as these are over. So for that, what you need to do is firstly introspect a lot in what you have done in life, what are your strengths, weaknesses, what are your achievements, what are your regrets, vagera, vagera. So all these HR questions are the most important part. And you know why you want to do an MBA? What is in you that the college take you? Why do you want to join this college? So these are subjective answers that you need to really prepare and prepare well. So once those are in line, then rest of the things like analytical question preparation or preparation for GDs or bad topics or current affairs, that can come along. But the one most important part will be knowing yourself. Because if you try to fake yourself in an interview, the panelists have been sitting there for decades. They'll know. So just try to be honest and try to look into yourself as much as possible and then just fly through it.
So there is this question in the comment section. So
Yeah.
what other exams one must focus after CAT?
Uh, I think the question is what are the other exams one must focus apart from CAT? Because after CAT there are exams which are before CAT. Okay, so anyways, so I mean there are a lot of exams out there, so it is a very personal choice. I only gave CAT. I did not give any other exam. But yes, there are exams like SNAP, MAT, ZAT, CMAT, CAT. So these are the like 5, 6 exams which you could focus upon. You could focus upon TISMAT or a lot of these exams. So it's a very personal choice because uh, I know many people who are focusing that I want to go to this city only. So whichever colleges are there in that city, I'll target them. So it's on you. I'm flexible to go into any college. That's why I give CAT because I know that IIMs are everywhere across India. So yeah.
Okay. Moving to the next question. Uh, in this days of crippling economy, do you see dwindling prospects of jobs?
Okay. I think this should have been a question for an economist and not for a first year MBA student. But okay. See, it's a very, very difficult thing to gauge because I myself are a part of the system that, 2 months down the line, I have my summer internship. I don't know whether companies will come or not. What will be the scenario of summer placements? What will be the scenario of final placement? We don't know right now. So with this scenario, the uncertainty is as high as it can ever be. So, to be able to comment is very difficult, and even I honestly would like an answer on this, whether I'll get a job or not, whether I'll get an internship or not. So I can't tell anything right now.
Okay, sir, no problem. Okay, sir. Do board marks or college CGPAs play vital role in selection?
Yes, not only in selection in MBA colleges, but also in selection for summer placements or final placements. They do play a vital role. If you have gone through the breakdown of the points that these colleges give, so you have a substantial amount of points given to 10th, 12th, and your graduation. Some of the colleges weigh them more than the CAT, right? So those are important when it comes to getting a call from a college, and not so much for the final selection because final selection is based more upon your GDVAT PI performance. But yes, it does have a small percentage. For getting a call and for getting a shortlist during summer placements. 10th, 12th, and graduations are important, really important.
Okay. So we need to focus on that too.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So there is a question in comment section. Is it possible to go for the CAT by preparing GRE or other aspect of fields required especially for the CAT?
Is it possible to go for GCAT by preparing GRE? Okay. So, apart from CAT, I also prepared for GMAT, right? So, I think I can answer that. So, the thing is, if you're preparing for GRE or GMATs, uh, you will definitely have a leverage when it comes to the vocabulary part or the English part, the VRC section, basically. But what I feel is that, the section, DIR section and the quant section of CAT, they are a different ball game, which is very different from what you prepare for GRE or GMAT. So what I believe is that preparing for the English section of GRE and GMAT can help you in the VRC of CAT, and preparing for the quant and DLR of CAT can help you in GRE GMAT's quant and integrated reasoning section, but not vice versa. So both of these exams have their own focus areas, have their own level of difficulty, and a somewhat gray area of common preparation, but not completely a subset. No.
Okay. So, sir, there is this question,
Yeah.
very, very frequently asked question. It's almost D-Day with this about 2 months left. How to proceed from here?
Okay. Oh, yeah, 2 months left. I know, I know, I know. So by now, I assume that you are done with your conceptual clarity, your solving of for giving mocks, analyzing them, and working on your weak sections that you recognize from the analysis of these mocks. Because I remember, I in my very first mock that I had given, I had scored 103 out of 300 300 marks. I think, yeah, 103. And just by practicing mocks and analyzing them, in CAT I was able to score 244. So mocks are the most important part of the preparation, and 2 months down, you should just focus on mocks, maybe 2 or 3 mocks a week, and a thorough analysis and improvement on the weaknesses. That's it.
Okay. So there's this question. Can you suggest the strategy you follow to prepare for DIR or LR section?
Okay, so DILR, one of my favorite sections personally. I mean, this is the section that can make or break the complete game. Okay. A one word answer to this question: practice. That's it. DILR, from my experience, has no tricks. I mean, okay, quant, you might have some strategies or tricks. VRC, you might have some tricks. DILR does not have that. Either you get it, either you don't get it. So, what I believe is that in DILR, practice as much as you can, because once you practice a lot, what I realized is that there are certain type of questions which are repeating. There are certain frameworks which are there. Just the values and the names change here and there. So if you're able to recognize those frameworks and get a hang of those, then any question of that framework you can make it. For example, if there is a framework of sitting arrangement, so if you know that, okay, I'm clear about this. So if they say, people are sitting in a triangular shape, a square shape, a circle shape, doesn't matter. If there's a framework of sports, so if you give time and understand that, okay, 8 teams are playing cricket, and this is the tournament, and that kind of question is there. Once you understand that framework, then if it's a football tournament, if it's a hockey tournament, if it's a chess tournament, doesn't matter. So you need to identify those frameworks and get a hang of those. Once you do that, it becomes really easy and quick for you to understand what the question is asking, because DLR is about time and accuracy both. So that is what I would suggest, that for DLR, practice as much as you can, even, and like in mocks, you have all the varieties of sets which are coming in. So just identify the frameworks and try to get a solution in your head as to how to approach a particular framework. Then you can solve all the types of DLR questions.
Yes, sir. Okay, so there's this one more question in the comment section. Mocks plays an essential role in CAT preparation. Sir, could you mention the best mocks available at present, like AIMTAC, etc.? Which one to opt for?
Okay, this is by my experience. I mean, I felt that the level of SIMCATs, that is the IMS mocks, was the best. AIMCATs gave you a reality check when it came to uh, if you want to expect a tough paper, you go for AIMCAT. If you think that you are getting too confident, you go for AIMCAT, because that will crush your confidence. At least that's what it did for me. Uh, Even CL mocks are good. So these 2 3 classes are good, but as it is September right now, if you're a CAT 2020 aspirant, just focus on one of the classes, probably IMS, and just go with it. If you're a 2021 aspirant, take up 2 test series, and then practice as much as you can.
Okay, sir. Practice is the key.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, sir, please suggest some books for LR in English.
Uh, See, if this is a question by a CAT 2020 aspirant, I'd be surprised. 2021 makes more sense for books, because, as I said, with just 2 months in hand, all you can focus right now is giving mocks and analyzing them. You don't really have a lot of time for concept building and all. But anyways, I'd suggest that you can take up. See, the role of books is not to prepare you for CAT. The role of books is to get you acquainted with the type of questions, the topics, the syllabus of CAT. So for that, you can pick up IMS books, you can pick up time books, you can pick up any classes books, you can pick up Arun Sharma books. Okay, but don't depend on them for preparation. Preparation is through mocks. Depend on them for concept clarity, for theory part, for understanding the syllabus. That's it.
Okay, sir. This is any advice for people who are starting from the initial level.
Okay, people who are starting from initial level. As I said, the journey is simple and well defined. You start with your books, you get your concepts cleared, you start practicing through sectional tests, because if you enroll for classes, the IMS or time or any of these test series, You get sectional tests. So once you have your concepts cleared of suppose geometry, of suppose parajumbles or numbers or algebra or anything, so you start taking up text sectional tests to get a better hold. Then you start taking up mocks, analyze them well, take as many mocks as you can. 50 is a golden number if you can reach that. I could not reach that. I think I gave like 25, 30 mocks, but yeah, 50 mocks is good. And just try to not repeat the mistakes you did in the last mock. That is the only way you will, reach actually rise up the ladder. Because as I said, the journey from 103 marks to 244 marks was slow, and at every stage there were different set of challenges. Because I remember at one point I was just stuck in the range of 140, 150, 160. I was not able to go up. So you need to have strategic changes at every point of your preparation, and be determined, be very much disciplined. Keep CAT as priority and prepare. So if you're starting out, start with the concept clarity, as I said, and all the way up to the D-Day when you have practiced a lot of mocks, identified DILR frameworks, mastered the art of elimination in VRC, mastered the ABC approach in Quant. So, that is the whole package that you need to prepare in this while. So,
Okay, that is fine. Okay, so this is the question asked. So, sir, is it possible to go for both the exams by preparing any of them, or we need to prepare specially for both separately? It is the person that asked that DRE question.
GRE, right. Okay. So, the thing is, the approach needed for both the exams is very different. Okay. Because I remember when I was preparing for my GMAT, my mock test scores of CAT took a hit. I mean, before that preparation, I was scoring in 140, 150, 160. But when I was preparing for GMAT, my scores went down to 120, 130, or even lower. So the preparation is different, but it is complementary. As I said, the English part of GRE GMAT will help in CAT VRC, and the DLR Quant part of CAT will help in the Math and IR part of the GRE GMAT. So yes, both are possible together. They have intersecting areas, and they will help each other.
Which section we have to focus uh, to sorry uh, to hit more score?
Okay, so my strategy, I don't know if that was right or not. I was scared of VRC. I like I'll keep solving math, I'll keep solving DLR, but VRC is something that I'll do tomorrow. I'll do tomorrow. I'll do tomorrow. I'll do tomorrow, and I never did that. So that is not right. Okay. Uh, Initially, try to identify your strengths when you're starting off your preparation. Try to identify your strengths in different sections. You can't say that one section is your complete strength. That is not possible. You'll have some subsections. As I said, for me, my algebra was strength, quant was strength, and numbers was strength, and all that. Geometry was not my strength. Similarly, in DILR, LR was my strength, DI was not my strength. In VRC, VA was my strength, RC was not my strength. So first identify those. In the mid part of the preparation, focus on your weaknesses. Try to improve the weaknesses that you have identified. And in the last leg of your preparation, that is last 1 month or last 2 weeks, again focus on your strength. Why? Because if that time you try to improve your weaknesses, you will lose out on confidence, and confidence is very important when you go for the exam, right? So
Yes.
last 3 weeks, last 1 month, focus again on your strengths, or focus on the weaknesses that you have converted to strengths. Because if you were not able to convert any weakness in the last 1.5 years of preparation, last 2 3 weeks is really not the time to approach that. So that time you need confidence. So focus on your strength again. So as I said, strengths, weaknesses, then strengths. That is how it should be.
Okay, sir. So there is this more question. Uh, how much time it is advised to prepare for CAT?
Okay. Um, I don't know if this is per day or this is like the duration part, but okay, I'll just answer that. As I said, I worked for around 1.5 years, but I know one of my very good friends, my classmates, she was working and she prepared only 2 months, right? And both of us are classmates and I am Bangalore. So you might like in college, I had like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I had my summer vacation where I had like all the time in the world to prepare. But she was in a very, very hectic job. So she had to crunch out 1 hour, 2 hour every day to prepare for CAT. And she did that for 2 months. So again, as I said, there is no right answer to this. It is upon you. To be on the safe side, always prepare as much as you can for a as high percentile that you can get. But I have shown you two extreme cases. Myself prepared for 1.5 years for hours a day, and she prepared for a couple of hours for 2 months. So, it is upon you that how much grasping power and how much you can practice.
Things keep differing from person to person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So there's one more question. Is there any platform through which we can prepare self rather go for any coaching classes?
Okay. Uh, Personally, okay. So there is no particular platform which will, give you all the access to your material, your questions, and everything for free. You'll have to purchase first thing. So there are a lot of platforms like IMS has its own online portal. There is iQuanta, which is there. Also, now that I've mentioned iQuanta, I would want every one of you to join the Facebook group of iQuanta CAT preparation because there I have written around 15, 20 detailed articles on how to prepare for CAT, how to prepare for VRC, how to analyze mocks, how to give the exam out. I've written a lot. So, if you're interested for detailed strategies, you can join the iQuanta Facebook group. Okay. So that being said, coming back to the platforms questions, uh, all of these classes, most of these classes, Career Launcher or IEMS, iQuant, all of them have their own platforms. So you can access to any of them and try to prepare yourself. That's absolutely all right.
Okay. So there is this question. Nailing the DILR section with a perfect score. So were mock questions sufficient or did you opt questions from book also?
Okay. I as I said, I practiced any and every question I could get hold of. Any and every question. So at my hostel, I had books of IMS, books of Endeavor, books of Time. I solved all the sets of all these books. I solved all the sets of all the mock exams that I gave. I solved all the sets that were posted on the iQuanta Facebook group because that's a huge community of around I think 3 lakh people are there who keep posting questions which are important. So I solved literally every set I could get my hands upon, be it an easy set, be it a difficult set. I solved all the past CAT or DLR questions. So as I said, that is the only key because after you solve these many sets is how you recognize the frameworks and make yourself ready for that. Because I remember that on my CAT day, due to all this, I mean, in my mocks, I could solve 5 to 6 sets out of 8. On a very good day. On a bad day, 3 to 4 sets was my average. But because of this extensive practice, on the CAT day, I was able to solve 8 out of 8 sets. So, that is how practice can really pull you up.
That's nice. Okay. So apart from all these preparation questions, I would like to know how is life at IMD?
Okay. I wish I could tell you that if I could have gone to IIM Bangalore, but okay, sitting online, I can tell you how much it is. So, I am a person who used to sleep 12 to 14 hours a day in my engineering. I'm a huge sleeper. Okay. I can sleep anytime, anywhere. And a person like me is operating on 3 to 4 hours of sleep a day. My engagement is around 18 to 20 hours every day. So,
Very some drastic changes.
right? So, the thing that, people, while preparing for CAT or for interviews, what they look at is what is the average package this college offers, what are the companies that come here, etc., etc. Those are important, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Those are important. But coming into the institute, what I understood, the more important part is the friends that you make. The quality of peer group that you find here is amazing because these are the best minds of the country who have come across a long journey. Everyone has a story. Everyone, has a different trait. So, because that's what these IIMs focus upon. They focus upon inclusion. They focus upon diversity. So, when you're sitting in a classroom, you have 75 people with 75 different journeys, 75 different backgrounds. The quality of opportunities, the number of opportunities, the guidance, the mentorship, the quality of faculties, it's top notch. So definitely placements is one thing that everyone looks forward to. But I feel that is a very very niche thing that is focused before we get into the college. But after you get into the college, you realize it's much more. It's the experience, it's the memories that you create here, it's the friends that you make, it's the stories that you weave for your future. So that these are more important. But you know that is all that I can say for now. When I'm online, I am sure that if I go when I go offline, I'll have a lot more to add to this. So hoping to do that.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir. Moving to next question. How to manage our preparation with college studies? In order to get selected, we need to be involved in various extracurricular activities also. How to manage everything?
One word: prioritize. Okay,
Sure.
like I was very active in terms of extracurricular activities in college till my second year or mid of third year. That's it. After that, I knew that if I have to balance my college CGPA along with my CAT score, I need to compromise somewhere. So I made a schedule which I kind of followed for a year meticulously. Crunching out 1 hour before classes, crunching out 1 hour in the lunch break, a couple of hours before dinner, a couple of hours after dinner. So you have to really plan your day, stick to the plan, and execute it. So that is how you will be able to manage everything. So time manage. So that's what I'm saying. CAT not only teaches you math, English, and logical reasoning. It teaches you time management, which is most important for a manager. So that is what you need to learn
Definitely.
from this.